WDAS Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler, an iHeart radio station. Presented by Cure Auto Insurance.
180.
Yep, it's about that time again. Another NFL week where you're not sure on who will win, or more importantly,
great teams cover.
Well, you're in luck.
Touchdown, win, cover. Booyah.
Our guys from Beating Your Bookie are here to help. Now, a parlay that's sure to cash. Here's Poe and Tommy Pope.
Go. Welcome back. That's actually, get rid of that. We're just starting.
Cut. Go.
Beating Your Bookie, episode 2. I am Tommy Pope, and I'm with my boy Poe. And guess who won the poll from last week? Adrian.
I won.
Adrian Fedq.
I'm back.
Welcome back, buddy.
I'm back. I won the poll?
Yeah. Well,
I'm in here for good?
you know what? You put $30 in my back pocket, and I put you back on.
Oh, you
Episode 2.
didn't have to say that.
Votes. I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah,
got
well,
7 votes.
Yeah, I did you a favor. I was going to ask for 100, and I gave you 30.
All it took was 30.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, Adrian. You were a great asset to us last week with your crazy mind. I'm going to say it's crazy. It's more crazy than I am. Poe.
What's up, brother?
Wild week.
Wild week.
Real wild week.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw you in the box. Let's talk about this first. Yeah, this is true.
What a catch.
We just got a video today. I got sent from Brace at the studio, and he's like, watch this. The Eagles posted this video of Alshon Jeffries getting a touchdown pass, and he's like, just wait till you get to like 45 seconds in. We're thinking this guy's in Colorado. Yeah. Poe's just chilling in Colorado. You know, he's not going to see the game. Brace and I are doing pregame with you were there with Akers. It's not going to matter. At the end of the video, Jeffries hands off a touchdown reception to just a strange Asian boy in a box. Guess who it was?
This guy.
Yes.
To my right.
Just hanging out, solo roller dog. He's got like 7. He got like. I can't even. When I first saw it, the joy in my eyes matched the anger in my heart. I was so upset that you didn't call me. You didn't tell me you were in the stadium, let alone owning the stadium. And then what did I say to you when you walked into this room? I was like, hey, why didn't you give me a call? And you were like, oh, you were at the stadium? You should have came up to the box for free drinks. And that made me more ravenous. And I'll tell you this right now. Look at me in the eyes. You do that one more week. You got 15 more weeks. Try it again. I dare you. I'll take that Jeffries ball and I will pop it, wrap it around your head, and make you buy me drinks, even though you get a free box.
Well, truth be told, honestly, I think he was throwing it to the 10-year-old girl on the left of me. But I kind of pulled my own interception and caught it myself.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's why
Heck of a snag. That was the most impressive part of the video.
He looked great.
One-handed.
He looks
with
great.
the phone in my hand.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, you know what?
Odell Beckham.
I think he was trying to give it to ESPN Sports Center highlights. It's the biggest asshole in the face of the planet because he takes it.
I like how you grab the ball and like 3 like lanterns around your neck swung, which means you murdered 2 more people to get into that box.
Yes,
Did you give the ball to the little girl?
I actually did give it to
Okay,
her. She
good
first
for you.
actually refused it, but then I said, quite frankly, I don't think he was giving it to me.
All right, cool. I just wanted to start off with that because that was a shocking a shocking revelation that everyone in the studio who's closest to him had no idea that he was doing that, which is kind of a boss move. I really appreciate it. I hate it, but I appreciate it.
I'll post it on our website.
All right, we have so much to cover today, and we're gonna go over a couple of social things that everyone in the league has already probably addressed, and we can do our own thing on it. But we got AB, we got Mayfield. The yellow tracker as of today, which really chapped somebody's behind, but not. I didn't care for it, you know.
Well, you have a philosophy, right, Adrian, on this AB situation? Give us your conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so he got stuck in Oakland. So it was a 3rd and a 5th round pick that Oakland had to send to Pittsburgh to get him to Oakland, California.
You know who else got stuck in Oakland?
Who's that?
Everybody else.
Yeah.
He lives in Oakland.
Well, he actually got out. AB actually got out.
One of the very few.
So frostbites and all of these shenanigans and chicanery from Antonio Brown eventually finally leading to a release. And guess who signs him in less than like 39 minutes? It's New England, of course.
Yeah.
The Patriots. He goes to Tom Brady. He's got another weapon, and it's just not fair.
I think it is a little bizarre now that Adrian actually brought it up. How could the actual Patriots have gotten to the agent quick enough to where the agent's just like, look, AB, this is a great offer by the Patriots, but we're in the driver's seat here right now. We could probably field 6 or 7 offers in the next 4 hours.
Yeah.
Why are we going to take the first one? And then you start bringing this conspiracy theory, and I'm actually thinking maybe there is something to this.
Yeah.
How would he know to say, hey, AB, take this offer by the Patriots? It's not like this guy just walked away from $30 million.
Yeah.
He took $15 million in a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Why is that the best offer to jump on within 24 hours? It makes me start thinking similar
it was being done for weeks, I imagine. Maybe months, maybe years. Who knows? He had this plan for a long time.
But you don't think it's like we're getting into the JFK single man guy behind a
No.
grassy knoll?
No.
We're getting into like 7 people killed him.
Did you
This
see
is
how
a-
he
this is real.
celebrated on social media when he got released? Just how excited and ecstatic he was?
Yeah, he
I
ran out
told
to
me it
his
was a
pool.
collusion.
Yeah,
So you do think it's a conspiracy?
I absolutely believe in it. Yeah,
So
I
similar
do.
to what? You're like when you're dating another girl or what?
Yeah, that's I actually. I've had scenarios where like I want to get a relationship and you start dating another girl and then you start colluding, if you will.
So you're saying it was
Well played.
really official much later than really you're actually
No, it's
hooking up with that girl
it's
beforehand?
official to the public and my parents much later, but
Right.
it's already streamlined. I'm
Really-
ready to
really
sign.
doing stuff
I
on
am
the deal
ready
already.
to sign the contract
Right.
for the new girlfriend.
You're emotionally checked out. So AB was emotionally checked out, but he was basically
physically
sending-
checked out.
He was doing smoke screens behind the back to
Listen.
Bob Kraft through massage parlor chicks,
In my
and
s-
basically
yeah.
saying, "Look, you tell that girl we that I'm going to come in here next
Yeah.
week and I'm going to get off the Oakland Raiders. You give me a little happy ending, and we're going to go back to the Patriots."
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
That's
All right, sounds
exactly
good
what
to me.
happened. Also, he behaves like this because he's a coddled mess.
Yeah.
I mean, you think the chemical process in an extraordinary athlete's mind changes after being coddled for so long. They think they're beyond just human interaction. So, like, I mean, we saw it with like Pat Barrel in Philly. Like, imagine being 5 years old and going all the way through the leagues as being this like emperor.
Put on a pedestal.
Put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You start going, I don't have to behave like everyone else. The guy didn't even learn Barrel didn't even learn how to use a computer. He would just went, I want that one. He would just point out women and they would just
It's called
he had an
entitlement.
agent.
Entitlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Well, that's what
In a good
Kraft
way.
wanted, right? So Kraft became a billionaire, and he started saying, "I want that one," and they said, "Well, you can't do that unless we're in a massage parlor."
Yeah, well,
and they
Kraft-
don't speak English, and they're illegal human trafficked aliens. Is
No,
that what
but
happened?
athletic prowess is different than
Monetary
a business
prowess.
and monetary prowess. Yeah,
okay.
because you could still think like a business person, which is what Kraft is. Kraft just wants to be like an athlete, and that's why he wants
as
to
a
jump
business
in.
person, he figured $50 happy ending is much better than me actually owning one.
There you go.
That's actually what he was saying.
Yeah, there
Good
you
point.
go.
Let's move on.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say real quick. He's got to be the most biggest diva in NFL history. I remember back when Terrell Owens was doing
T.O.'s
sit-ups
close.
in his
T.O.'s
driveway,
close.
but I don't know about that.
Yeah, because you were younger.
Yeah, no. Well,
You know,
I remember the
no,
prime.
no,
I remember the
seriously.
prime.
If I was my age now and I saw T.O., I would
We
be
remember
just as-
sit-ups in the driveway.
Just
That's
as
what we
upset.
remember.
Yeah,
but,
he looked
but
great.
with Antonio Brown, it's frostbites. It's all these.
Yeah, but he
discussion
wasn't a
with
problem until last year, right? He wasn't the head case he was until last year.
Well, publicly, we didn't know that.
Right.
We hear now
That's
that
when
he was
Pittsburgh
always a
started
problem.
losing.
Well, that's
It
the
was
same
only
thing-
because they started losing.
Okay, but that's the same thing with Tom Cruise, right? So that guy wasn't a problem until he lost his PR agent and he started jumping on couches with Oprah Winfrey, right? So the reality is you're saying he was a lunatic prior to a public knowing that he was a lunatic.
Well, maybe AB's a Scientologist now. Maybe that's what happened.
Well, we know what that means.
He flipped that script, bro.
We know what that means.
No, we don't. All right, let's move on to Cleveland. I want to talk about Mayfield real quick. I want to hear what you guys think about whether or not he's overrated, about all the hype going into this week or last week rather, and what you felt about his performance.
Yeah, so 43-13, a drubbing. Tennessee taking care of the Browns, and we talked about it coming in, Poe.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it.
And you got to give me credit.
You get huge credit for this.
I talked a lot of smack about them Browns, and I
Yeah.
said
I know
that
you did.
Baker
I know you
Mayfield,
did.
I'm not a believer in him.
And I'll take this. I'll take this on the chin. I am a believer in him, and I think it'll turn around. I want to believe in him. That's what I said. I want to believe in him. I don't like his attitude, but I still think his potential is just as high. I think they just need to every couple weeks, every team for the first couple weeks, you need to figure some stuff out. He needs to figure a lot out.
You know what surprised me, though, watching those highlights? Baker Mayfield's picks looked very, very similar to the Peterman experiment. Like, they were just egregious picks. They weren't like picks like, they were tipped and you're trying to squeeze it in a tight window and the guy made an athletic play. They were from pre-snap, I'm throwing it to you and I'm going to project who I'm going to throw it to and I'm going to throw a terrible ball and it's going to get picked. It's like they did game tape and they knew Mayfield in this particular formation is going to do his comfort zone, which is to run a 6-yard curl or an out or whatever it was going to be, and they just jumped the routes. They were all on his crap. Like, they knew Baker Mayfield was a predictable quarterback. And to me, that means they're starting to go through a learning curve in the NFL that Mayfield may be a guy you can just do your homework on. It's sort of like a guy who tears up the league in baseball, and then they start doing it, and they go, well, this guy's got a problem with the inside breaking ball. And they start feeding him inside breaking balls, and he can't hit anything. And then he gets in his own head. I'm thinking Baker Mayfield might be maybe the next Peterman.
That's interesting. I actually made that comparison earlier today with Matt Nagy and that Chicago Bears offense. Defensive coordinators may be catching up a little bit.
Why must you guys get so intense about 1 week of football?
Well, I'm getting back to Baker Mayfield because I disagree with Poe. I disagree with you. So last year, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So it was, we had a 2-to-1 ratio. Now, you did talk about, hey, maybe adjustments have been made. But he does so many little things. The improbability, the touch that he has on his passes, and the way that he can throw on the run. So he can do a lot of different things. I think he was feeling himself all offseason long. The Browns were feeling themselves.
Of course he was.
This was so predictable. Not a drubbing like this, but a loss was predictable.
He got rocked in the mouth, just like the Eagles did in the first half.
He got punched in the mouth.
It's going to be fine.
It's the best thing that could have happened.
Yes.
Yeah, but here's one thing I want to point out, though. The two of those three things that you said, that why Baker Mayfield, you believe in him. Number one, he can improvise, right? Number two, he can throw on the run. Yeah. And what was the third thing that you said?
His touch on the ball.
He's touch on the ball.
Okay, so two of those three, the first two, I would say you could say the exact same thing after RG3's first year. Right? I mean, RG3, without question, improvised. Without question, he was able to throw on the run. Mm-hmm. And you say that he got injured, but that wasn't why he stunk. He stunk because he stunk. There was no solving of it. I mean, he didn't get injured and lost his Achilles heel, and then he became a bad quarterback. He was just somebody that got solved in the NFL. That's my position on it. So we can move on.
I think when it comes to accuracy, Baker Mayfield is well ahead of Robert Griffin III.
Right. Even his first year, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, he's still a baby.
He threw 27 touchdowns in 13 starts. I believe that's an NFL rookie record for quarterbacks.
Yeah. Listen, if you look at anything in his past, you know he's feeling it. He's always been feeling it. That's how he is. He's got a vibe of a stripper. Like, the guy walks around like he's earned everything. And this is a good thing for him. I sound like
Yes.
I feel like I feel like an announcer for Cleveland right now, but it's a good thing for him.
Okay, well let's just go through. I just want to, because you brought up RG3. I brought up RG3 in the comparison. So RG3 at 22 years old came into this league and threw 20 touchdowns and threw 5 picks. Mm-hmm. Okay, he had a 65% completion rate and he ran for, I want to say, over 500 yards. Okay?
Yeah.
But either or, my point is very similar to Baker Mayfield's stats. So, to me, what happened after that? His entire career went to crapola, and RG3 went to throwing 16 touchdowns and 12 picks, and then fell off the face of the planet. He's like Encino Man. They might as well just put him under a rock because no one cares where the hell he is.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened with RG3 was this. So we had a period of time in the NFL where the zone read was prevalent, and everybody was running it. And once that phase kind of died out, that's when we saw the stats drop for RG3, for Colin Kaepernick, a lot of these run-first quarterbacks, because the RPO now is the thing that's in play. And that's what Baker Mayfield is known for. So if we see a transition with the zone read, like with Robert Griffin III, and the RPOs here where some guys are getting figured out, that's what we're going to have to look for with Baker. But I am a Baker guy. I think he's a potential top 10 quarterback. I am down with Baker.
If I see that guy in a parking lot, I'm knocking him out. Hey, I don't care whether he's making.
Well, I'm going to take your lanyard after he beats you.
I'm just going to kick his butt just because you guys like him so much. That's I'm going to say that's the reason why.
Well, this will be an argument all season long, and you want to.
I hate him.
Well, that draft class.
I hate his family.
That
Yeah,
draft class
everything about
itself.
It's good. It's
Yeah, that draft class itself. I mean, we were talking about before the show. It's extremely overrated right now.
Oh, that's a good point. We were talking. Adrian and I were talking about that. Everybody last year come draft day because this huge debacle that ESPN makes of draft day. Ooh, this is so exciting. They made all these quarterbacks become like the immortal quarterback class, and prior to that draft, it wasn't like every guy that was coming out, everyone was like, I can't wait till that guy gets the draft because he's going to be a franchise quarterback. I think they manufacture these franchise quarterbacks. They're all hype. And last year in particular, I was just like, Josh Allen, Rosen, like all these guys. I was like, what have these guys done? And the egos that these guys have. And they try to compare it to like 83's draft class.
Yeah,
dude. 83's draft class had, who would it, Jim Kelly, Tony Eason, Todd Blackledge, Dan Marino, and who else?
John Elway.
John
Elway was in
Ken
the draft class.
And Ken O'Brien.
Yes.
And Ken O'Brien. Ken
Great
O'Brien.
draft class.
That was the last time the Jets were even exciting. What was that? The 83?
Yeah.
That's the 36
Listen, I
years
totally
ago.
agree with you, and I think this is a fault from the league trying to extend the NFL season a good 2 to 3 months prior to the draft and start to just illuminate and,
Yes.
and be hype up and be grandiose about what's coming up in the next
So
draft class.
exciting to find
And
out
if
what the
you
draft
say
is
these
gonna be,
things that
yeah.
are so ridiculous, people are going to tune in. People are going to get more excited. People are going to start tuning in the next week about NFL and NFL and NFL and NFL because there's nothing for 2 months prior to the NFL start to get these husbands excited. So they're just like, well, in order to get them to listen, we got to make these people sound like they're the next Saber.
Right. We're going to make an actual spectacle where people are actually going to watch the draft, and then they actually drive to the town, and they're like,
dude,
let's go to the
dude,
city
don't
and
get me
sit in
started
an
with this.
auditorium to watch people make picks.
Listen, I had shows at Helium the week, the day of the draft when it was hosted in Philly. What was that 2-3 years ago? 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I saw guys jet skiing in the Schuylkill. Jet skiing. So people from all over the country, they must have come from the South, maybe Miami, and they're like, "Yo, there's a water line that goes around the art museum. We're going to bring our water sports."
So you're saying
they're jet skiing in the Schuylkill.
At that point, but is that not normal? Because I don't really jet ski, nor do I ever.
No
hang out
one
with Schuylkill.
touches the Schuylkill. That's how you get cleft palates and your skin falls off your skull.
Really?
Oh my God! That's where we get rid of all of our dead grandparents.
And I'm
you
sure
just
that
dump them in the Schuylkill.
And you're tying the ignorance of somebody jet skiing to obviously being out of the state.
Yes.
They could be ignorant from
Correct.
Philly.
Not even out of the state. Out of I mean, you got to go below the Delaware Valley and the Mason-Dixon line to understand that you don't touch the Schuylkill water.
The fact that Pope actually has this belief that the people south of the Mason-Dixon line are the only ones ignorant enough to do jet skiing in the Schuylkill, but then he thinks like in Cleveland, Ohio, everybody's just ugly, and then
you know what?
everybody's
Because I'm white trash, and anyone below the Mason-Dixon line has watercraft. They have jet skis, they have fishing boats, and they have no clue what's in the Schuylkill.
That's a good point. He is white. He is white trash.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the NFL draft, I got nuggets. I got some nuggets for you guys.
some
More
nuggets.
nuggets than you get at Burger King right now, by the way.
Don't ever tell that joke. I'll do the jokes.
Okay. You do the jokes.
You stop with the jokes.
By the way, I don't even think Burger King has nuggets.
I don't think
Isn't
so
that
either.
McDonald's?
Just let him go.
No, it's
Let him
Burger.
go.
They
He's getting all
do the
excited.
10 nuggets for $1.49. I would know because I get them all the time. They're pretty good.
He's
They're
got
pretty good.
He's got a bag of Pop Tarts.
pay
They're pretty good. I do got it, and they were for free.
Speaking of white
they were for
trash.
free. I found out they were for free today. Okay, so third NFL draft in history where you had 5 quarterbacks go in the first round. So you had it 2017, 1999, the year that Donovan McNabb got drafted, and obviously the aforementioned 1983 class with John Elway at the top. So those are the 3 right there.
Well, 99. So who was in that? Culpepper, McNabb.
No, 99 class was not good. So you had Tim Couch, Donovan McNabb, Achilles Smith. Those were your top 3 picks overall.
Smith bust.
Yeah. Dante Culpepper goes 11th. He was good for Minnesota. And then Cade McNown, obviously the lefty who was a bust for Chicago. If you remember him.
All right. So I would say that I think this class, my prediction, is going to be maybe worse than that 99 draft.
Wow. Interesting.
I think nobody we're going to even remember in 5 years from now. No one's ever going to remember one guy who comes out of this class. Josh Allen, what has this guy done? What has Rosen done? What has one guy done? The best guy is obviously the Jets guy, in my opinion, Darnold.
Well, I
That's
like
the only-
Baker.
You like Baker. Yeah,
I'll take Baker.
Okay. You
Do-
take Baker.
Yeah.
And I'll take Darnold.
So
We'll forget both of
it's
these
going to
guys
be
in 5
Baker
years.
and Darnold, just like Donovan and Culpepper.
They'll be delivering pizza to us in 5 years from now. That's what's going to happen.
You're paying for
to
it,
the
dude.
studio.
To the studio.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
the box money. You are paying for
Please
it.
remember us. I used to be the Jets starting quarterback, and I used to be the Browns starting quarterback.
Let's talk about the yellow tracker, and then we'll get out of here for the
God,
first break, and then come back.
Awful yellow tracker.
Oh, my goodness.
You didn't, I mean, literally, now this is only coming from people who are chasing. And so when you're losing bets, we understand what chasing
this is a beautiful. This perspective is something I never thought. I was talking to Brace about this. Like, I didn't care when it flashes yellow every time because your brain starts to go, yeah, it's fine.
So let's get clear on what we're talking about for the listeners. We're talking about that little annoying yellow arrow that comes in and tells you
in the bottom right corner of the Monday Night Football tracker.
Right,
the
first down
ticker.
and 10, second down and 5, whatever it was. But every down it came in would flash in animated and then say whatever down it was.
In yellow. Bright
But that's what they used to do in the regular network TV. When there's a flag, a yellow thing illuminates, it animates, and the whole time I'm thinking I'm at a sports bar chasing bets, and every single time I see a gain that's 10 yards or past the first down marker, I'm going, a flag.
Who is putting Monday Night Football together and thinking to themselves that we're going to use a yellow ticker?
Yes.
What are they thinking?
The same person who drafted Baker Mayfield. The same clowns. The same people came with the XFL. What was that? What just got launched last year? That folded within 6 months?
The AFL.
The AFL.
But the XFL is coming back too.
No,
I think it's coming back 2020.
They're going to spend $300,000-$400,000 to try and get some kind of attention. They're going to bail on it. No one's going to support this. Yeah.
I think it's just a very close knit of idiots that are so successful in life that
they don't know what to do
is
with their
talk
money
to each other, just like us three, right? Like, so we could sit in a room
you said successful,
and we start talking to each other, and we're like, "This is a great idea." So Bill Polian talks to his buddies. He's like, "Dude, we need to do this.
It's a
we're
delusion.
gonna create this league. Everybody's gonna watch this. It's like the 3-on-3 basketball." And then everyone's like, "Outside this room, dude, you guys are crazy. You're idiots."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, really? How would this fail?"
It's like Trump going, "Let's buy Greenland." Yeah. You just. That's completely.
Well, now we're getting into politics.
No, we're not. And we're going to get back into a few things coming up. We're going to talk about Cowboys Giants, some bizarre spreads, and we'll dive into collective picks from last week when we get back. This is Beating Your Bookie.
Buying things is fun and way too easy. Just swipe, click, or pass some cash, and boom, it's at your doorstep. Unless you want a new car. But why is that? Well, at Hyundai, it's now possible to buy a new car without spending an entire day figuring out the details, because we let you complete most of the purchase paperwork online. We call it Streamlined Purchase, and it's just one part of our all-new Shopper Assurance program, designed to save you time, hassle, and headache. Car buying made easier. It's possible with Hyundai Shopper Assurance. Visit HyundaiUSA.com/Shopper Assurance for program details.
This train is delayed because of an incident.
So, you gonna be late for work?
What's happening? Why is someone talking to me on a train?
Mentos Pure Fresh Gum?
A few seconds later.
Hey, what do you call a train loaded with bubble gum?
I don't know.
A choo-choo train. Nailed it.
Mentos Pure Fresh Gum, with a burst of freshness to help you small talk.
Who says no to Mentos Gum?
It's Karen's birthday. She's got a mariachi band, a fire breather, and even a magician.
Is this your card?
The one thing she doesn't have is a birthday treat as unique as she is. At Edible Arrangements, we think it's time to reimagine the way we birthday. That's why we're introducing new birthday arrangements, platters, and more. Packed with fresh fruit and indulgent chocolate, these festive creations will brighten your birthday more than cake and candles ever could. Place your order by calling or visiting your local Edible today.
Americans are always on the move. They're in the car or at the office or working around the house. Americans refuse to sit still. So how do you connect with all those moving targets? Easy. With radio. Radio reaches 93% of Americans every week, more than Google, Facebook, and even television. But hey, who has time to sit and watch TV? So when you want to connect with all those constantly moving adults, teens, and millennials, get iHeartMedia.com and put AM/FM radio to work for your company.
Spilled your juice? Quick, the Quicker Picker-Upper. Bounty is 2 times more absorbent than the leading ordinary brand. It cleans up messes and spills quicker, so you can get back to the party. Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
School's back in session, which means your ride better be ready. At AutoZone, we've got the Duralast batteries you need to drive with peace of mind. They're proven tough, even in the most extreme conditions. That's because they're designed to improve performance and provide your ride with a powerful starter. And they're available only at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Visit us at AutoZone.com and start the job fast with free same-day in-store pickup based on data from the NPD Group Incorporated Car Care Track 12 months ending December 2018.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's the weekend! Let's go! Getting you ready for Sunday afternoon.
Solid weekend, baby.
Here's Poe and Pope on Beating Your Bookie.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to Beating Your Bookie with Pope and Poe. We are here with Adrian. Boys, all right, so here's what I want to get into. We talked about getting into some of our picks from last week, but I want to finish off with what we witnessed for week one. All right, we can go all the way back to Monday night, and we can talk about everything, but let's start with the Eagles. I want to hear your thoughts. Three of the four of us, actually all of us were at the game. You didn't get inside, Adrian, because of your attitude and your beard. Yeah. But maybe next week, if you
weren't allowed in the stadium.
No, we didn't let him in, dude. We didn't let him in, and that's fine. All right, so there was a lot of action.
You're hanging out with Mike Scott or something? What was that?
Yo, let's get into that too, because I got passion with that.
Tell us about it.
Let's talk about that first. Let's talk about it first. I wish if I was in the F1.
What's your take?
Did you see the group he fought? They looked like sweaty hemorrhoids. It was just a bunch of bald, gross Irish guys that, without a doubt, were probably racially insensitive. And Scott likes to push the envelope, right? But he was dressed like a mascot, like a Redskins mascot. He had Zubaz pants on.
Why is he wearing a Redskins jersey?
He's a huge Redskins fan, and I'm okay with that.
I'm not.
No, listen.
Okay, fine.
Listen.
Keep
You're right.
it to yourself. Don't be coming in Philly getting my paycheck from my patronage. I don't care if you're 6'9" and you're 280 pounds and much bigger than me. You probably can kick my butt and have
Sleeping with
tattoos
my
and
girlfriend.
I'll still talk a lot of crap to you.
No, I hear you. I agree with that normally, but he's also very supportive, and he's a great icon in Philly sports for the last year or two, especially. He's done some really good things for the city. Okay. So you get a part-time pass. Show up in your ridiculous costume for your team that I would bury in a heartbeat, right? In a field of nails and bullets, but. I can imagine what he went through walking through that lot.
So what's the story? How did he end up? What's his story on that whole?
The story's pretty clear. It's if you've ever walked through a parking lot, I don't know why you need clarification on this.
What is his story?
Okay, here's what happened. Here's what happened. Some Uncle Frank woke up at 5 a.m. He woke up his 3 dumb kids and was like, "Get out of bed. We have to drink 60 beers and
barbecue some GMO
barbaric animals in a parking lot and eat high fructose syrup and nitrates popsicles
and sit in a school bus and be painted green."
Yeah, and then anybody that comes by that's not wearing our colors, you yell at them. Yeah. And then
if there's 6-to-1 ratio, that's when you really yell at them, right? When you got 6 and they only got 1. That's Philly for you.
I guarantee you they didn't know who Mike Scott was. So
right.
They definitely did not.
Yeah, he came by and they were like, "Oh, look at this dude. We're gonna start talking crap."
So the video shows anything? Does the video?
They show the fight.
Does he knock him out?
No, it's not a knockout per se. I think people thought it was because they wanted it to be, because he does have a lot of support in the city. So at first it was like an altercation with the dude. Like he's saying he said the N-word or said something racially insensitive. That's why.
That's how everything starts.
And Scott swung, and then there was a couple dudes that came on him, and he threw this kid to the side. And
did they know who he was?
I don't think so.
No, they definitely did not.
And did he identify himself to anybody? Like, look, I play for the Sixers. I bury threes, and now I'm going to miss a few.
I bury threes, and now I'm going to bury you. That's what happened.
Did he say anything like that?
I don't think so.
Did he get arrested?
I think everyone, when the video was posted immediately, I don't know if it was identified as Mike Scott, but you look at his Instagram, and he's got warm-up photos of him getting prepared to go to the game, and he's wearing the same outfit. So everybody just socially put 2 and 2 together, saying it's definitely Mike Scott.
Okay, so he hasn't publicly made an announcement. The Sixers haven't said anything about in terms of his behavior being suspended from the team. Nobody said that they're arresting him. No one's saying they got a cracked eye and they're suing him for money. He's just going to miss a few clutch threes next year.
No loss.
Is that what's going to happen?
Actually, I think he's going to hit more clutch threes because of this.
What's going to happen is they're going to play the Wizards, and I'm going to pound the Wizards. Because if he's going to just purposely take
pound the Wizards,
threes from half court, they'll be like, Mike, here's a ball. And he'll be at half court. He'll be like, I'm shooting this one up. I'm going 0 for 20 from the field. I hate Philadelphia now. This is a Washington Redskins and it's a Washington Wizards.
I hope he has enough money that he gets more grandiose with his outfits, and every week goes back to the F lot and he has to fight more and more people, and it becomes such a spectacle that's his game now. He just has to fight
exciting
locals.
than what the Birds were doing in that first half.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
And I honestly have a theory on this. My theory is that this is what happens when you choose not to play any of your starters during preseason. You get a first half of a preseason game.
I agree with you.
And they basically played preseason football in the first half.
So preseason and then also last year, they were dead last in first quarter scoring. 41 total points for the entire season in the first quarter.
Thank you with these crazy stats.
Yeah, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. That's why 7 people voted on the poll, baby.
I'm betting on the under then. I'm betting on the under in first half for Eagles, knowing that stat right there.
Okay.
I was ready. I was ready for the slow start. I was not ready for them not taking chances and being so meek.
Yeah, you know what pissed me off, honestly, and I believe this, talk to any coach in the NFL, you got to keep a defense honest. He wasn't even throwing downfield.
No.
He wasn't even making a defensive back think maybe Deshaun will go deep on you.
Nope.
So that you get the given curl outs, you get the given comebacks, the 8-yard outs, because your defensive back is on his heel going, I don't want to get burned by Deshaun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? They didn't even do that in the first half.
No.
It's like, look, if I know that and I'm a pedestrian sucker who's never even put on, football pads in my life, how can Peterson not know this?
Can I be honest?
Go ahead.
Doug Peterson's script sucks. That first 15 plays,
terrible.
Complete opposite of what Andy Reid used to be.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought was. I thought it was going to be McNabb to T.O. I thought he was going to go all the way down the field. D-Jack just going to run the route all the way down the line. Just throw 80 yards.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 2 years ago, first play from scrimmage, Carson Wentz throws a bomb, doesn't connect, to Torrey Smith.
Yes.
Just to open up the defense, and I know that wasn't Peterson calling that play. Going back to your point.
Yeah, so
keep them off guard.
So I think when it comes to the scripting, he's terrible at it. But when it comes to in-game adjusting, that's what he does best, because they just pile on the touchdowns one after another, and that's what happened on Sunday.
He adjusts at halftime like a high school coach.
Well, Carson Wentz, honestly, shows you why he's a god. His arm is ridiculous. Those throws to freaking Deshaun, basically the guy didn't even break stride.
You know what he did on third down? 12 of 13. 197 yards,
3 TDs.
3 TDs.
It's
insane. And the only incompletion came on a 3rd and 10 called wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't understand.
So that didn't even
why
count.
The association with
there
the
was a lot of
numbers
bad.
and the slow start in the first half is not his fault. It's not his fault. Now, maybe he shouldn't have thrown so many checkdowns. Maybe he should have went 8 to 10 yards, a couple outs.
Right.
I don't see, I was starting to worry, what? Maybe there's an injury. Maybe they're hiding something. It went on for so long. Once you got past the first quarter, you start to think as a logical fan or someone who knows anything of the sport, maybe there's something wrong with his rotator cuff. Maybe they don't want to show it yet.
I was thinking that Peterson actually took the skins in the first half. After I saw that first
Very
half,
possible.
I'm like, how much
Very
would he tell his
possible.
grandmother? Look, lay everything on the skins first half, because that's how he was calling the plays.
And how about the running game? The running game is just as clueless to me as the throwing game.
I don't understand this. Darren Sproles is the most elusive back with God-given type of talent that you can't replicate. Okay, Barry Sanders type moves. The guy's been in the league for 150 years, and if you're going to keep a scat back in your backfield, you do not give the ball in those carries to Miles Sanders, an unproven rookie. You give a guy who can get arm tackled. He reminds me a lot. You guys might like him because in the future he's going to be great, and I do think he has some. He's a little better, but he reminds me of a much better Wendell Smallwood. But if Sproles is out of retirement, feed the ball to Sproles and give the ball to Jordan Howard.
Well, I'm in agreement with you on Jordan Howard. He was by far the best back on Sunday.
That's why we got him.
So he leads the NFL in yards after contact since, I believe, the last 3 seasons since 2017. So he runs through contact, and with the offensive line.
Wait, we traded for him, and every time we fed him the ball with no hole, he got 5 yards.
Yes. Yeah.
So we
He's
said
a
this
beast.
isn't successful enough. What we need to do is we need to get the guy who's getting 1 yard per carry, and Miles Sanders is a rookie, to make sure that this engine goes. It's basically Peter.
They're trying to use him in the LeGarrette Blount role when he really should be getting more touches than he did.
Right.
Yeah. The first half was like a preseason game where they were trying to figure out who has what, and we already know who has what. So why not execute?
They're trying to be New England, trying to use all those backs, but
I can't stand that.
But sometimes you got to just give the guy the hot hand.
Yeah, and not only that, the whole New England part that you're alluding to, that I 100% agree with you, is New England only runs the ball when they think that you're going to pass. So they have one guy in the back. They never have a lead back, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, Jordan Howard, you give a lead back, I don't care if it's 3rd and short. You give it to Jordan Howard, he's going to get 3rd and short.
Yes. When's the last time that happened?
Right.
Ajayi did it for a little bit.
Ajayi, that was
but
it.
when before him?
Right. No, I mean, that's what I think, Peterson, if I were to criticize his play calling, the only part that I would say is enough with the Miles Sanders shenanigans until he's proven and we're down to a back. You're not getting paid. We're not getting paid a rate of return by just feeding the ball to Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Give it to Jordan Howard. We traded him for a reason. And if you want to do that scat back stuff, give it to Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
Maybe this franchise is so warped of our history that we can't believe that we now have a hard-nosed, straight up the middle running back that can get 2 to 3 to 5 yards every single carry.
Well, we had a hard-nosed running back last year who could get 2 to 3 yards, and that was Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, but still, he had to make some adjustments side to side and vertically, whereas this dude is right up the nose, and I want to see that. I want to see him open it up. All right. Anything else with the Birds? Anything you guys want to add before we move on?
I think we're good.
I think the return of Deshaun is without question. Like, look, I mean, he's actually delivered in week 1. If this guy does nothing for the rest of the season, I'm ready to make a statue right beside Rocky outside the front steps.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
Well, they already got the nickname. They're calling themselves DNA. Deshaun, Nelly, and Jeffrey there. So that's their nickname.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's their nickname.
That is going to last about 3 minutes. This studio, and we'll never say it again.
That's what they're calling themselves.
You guys want to talk about the Cowboys-Giants real quick?
Okay, so the thing that impressed me in this game was Dak Prescott. And I feel like ever since Amari Cooper has come to Dallas, that's when Dak Prescott has taken the next step in his career. I wasn't always the biggest Dak guy, so that defense coming together, it's been coming together. It's been underrated under Rod Marinelli, but if Dak Prescott now is going to be throwing 2, 3, 4 touchdowns a game, all of a sudden the Cowboys might be a lot better than we think this year.
Very, very close to us.
I mean, I've always been a big believer in Dak to begin with, but I think with the recipe with Dak, the bottom line is that you got a great offensive line, you got a running back in Ezekiel, and you got the worst team in the NFL talent-wise in terms of the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, so what can we really gauge from this game? All I can gauge is that the Giants stink as predicted. They have no future ever. And as long as I'm a Birds fan, they will never win another game, in December.
I don't know enough to say this, but I feel it. And sometimes I got to trust my instincts. I think this Jones kid's, I want, like I said this before, I want Eli to either go all the way to the playoffs and make this last couple, maybe this last season or the next 2 seasons be like epic, or get off the field. I believe in this Jones kid. I think he's going to be. I think they see something in him, and I think he's going to really produce.
Yeah, I mean, I like the defense, especially this Leighton Vander Esch kid. He flies all over the place. The linebacker, he's unbelievable. Jalen Smith is another one. So DeMarcus Lawrence, they're loaded
you guys
defensively.
Are buyers on the Cowboys and you're sellers on the Giants. You're sold on both of those.
Yes.
Yes. I was curious to see how they looked right out of the chute, because they closed the year 7-1 last year, and to look like they did. I mean, look, I know it's the Giants, but it is an NFC East rivalry, and they took care of them pretty handily right from the chute. It was over pretty much in the second quarter.
Yeah, but at the same time, I hope both of them go 0-15 for the rest of the league. Because obviously, as an Eagle fan, you wish the worst for both of those teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just had to restate that. I want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Well, now also the Cowboys have Randall Cobb, so I'm thinking that also helps them keep honest on the Amari Cooper side of the ball. Before, when Dak was struggling, it was because their best wideout was Beasley.
Yeah.
In my opinion, on the entire squad. Who was scaring with Beasley?
Yeah, and one of their starters was a 3rd-round rookie in Michael Gallup out of Colorado State. So now he's in his second year, and he's the third wheel now, which is great for Dallas.
And I'm surprised Jason Witten got out of retirement. That's a pretty amazing thing. When I saw that guy in the highlights, I'm like, this guy came out of the booth with CTE and then went back on the field.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And actually, he doesn't remember any of it.
It's
the best part about it.
He actually didn't know he was in the booth for a year.
He was. If they have a couple, they have some footage post game, and he was just eating his car keys. He just didn't. He didn't know how to get home.
He's hanging out with Jim McMahon.
All right, guys. What other games stuck out, or players and issues? Any other things that stuck out week 1?
Well, John Ross, we talked about that a little. I mean, I don't know where this guy comes out of the blue, and he looked like he was the next Antonio Brown. Let's talk about that a little.
So he had 210 combined receiving yards in his first 2 years in the league, 16 combined games, and then in week 1 he goes for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. How about that?
Well, the question is it a fluke? Is it a one-hit wonder, or are we going to see more of this throughout the season?
Man, this is a tough call because of the player that he is. He's a boomer bust type of player. He's a speedster. He set the NFL Combine record for the 40-yard dash. So he beat Chris. Yes, he did beat Chris Johnson's record. So he's a guy who stretches the field vertically, but he's somebody who needed to learn how to run a route tree when he came out of Washington. So maybe that's some of that's coming into play here. We see some guys like that just never pan out.
Yeah,
guy like Kevin White, for example. Yeah, go ahead.
As a armchair quarterback that I grew up being, I'm a regular guy. I don't know all the analytics as much as you guys do, but how much of this do you think bleeds into the confidence of the quarterback throwing to that said wide receiver? Regardless of whether it's the man you're speaking of or any other wide receiver, if you gain a rapport for the first week, don't you think that'll bleed into the week 2, 3, 4? At least he'll get a little more opportunities, a little more throws for him to prove this. Otherwise, if it didn't happen in week 1, would he ever have this opportunity?
Yeah, so Andy Dalton, he's the quarterback there in Cincinnati. This is, again, third year here with working with him, but he's been off injured. So, again, to build that rapport, if he's out most of the time and he's not playing every week, if he can stay healthy, that is how you build a rapport week in and week out. Now, I'm not really that big of a believer in John Ross for the season. I don't think he's going to be replicating this every week. I think he's going to be a boomer bust kind of guy, whether he catches that big ball or not. That's the way he's going to be.
Here's what's interesting about the Bengals. Look, at the end of the day, they lost A.J. Green for the season.
Yeah.
I believe, right? So that guy can catch anything.
Yeah.
Or he's gone for a while.
And
right?
they got Tyler Boyd.
And the rapport was clearly with A.J. Green.
Yes.
He's all world. Right?
Yes.
Now he's getting towards the end of his career. Look at the wideouts that Cincy even has, right? So we're saying, can this happen every week? So the number one guys on this squad are John Ross, right, who had a career day, right? 7 catches, 156 yards, 12 targets. Then you got Uzomah. You got Tyler Boyd, and basically Tyler Eifert, one of the probably the biggest busts in the NFL in terms of tight end. He was picked over Zach Ertz, I think, right?
Yeah, so he's been a guy who's been hurt over recent years, can't stay healthy, and I believe he got hurt again in the preseason. So CJ Uzomah is the tight end at the moment, and so that's another loss for them.
So who does Dalton has to throw to? So when you say, it might not happen.
It's Ross and Boyd, and that's it.
Yeah, who is he going to throw to?
That's
so to me, Dalton likes to throw the ball. He'll throw it 33 times a game. They're going to have to go to Ross. So if you're talking to me, I'm thinking he's a good value pick for fantasy. You know, he's a speedster, and you found some success in week 1, and A.J. Green's gone. Yeah. This guy's stepping it up.
I'd still take Tyler Boyd over him.
Really?
Yeah, I would take Tyler Boyd over him.
Let's do a side bet on that.
Okay.
Season bet.
All right. We can do that. Do a little bit of that.
We're doing that.
Okay.
All right, boys.
Tyler Boyd. Go ahead.
Who else? No, go ahead. I want to hear some more. Any other. What else stuck out on week 1 before we move on to picks from last week and picks coming up for this week?
Well, I thought Oakland played pretty good last night.
Yeah, I was excited about that.
Showed some heart.
They did.
Or on Monday night, I should say.
Just due to what happened with AB, you had to root for him, right? I know it was difficult, but I did, at least. I know I always go against you. Well, you know what? This is not financial. This is emotional.
You know what's amazing? This is what I think, and one of my friends that's a clear degenerate gambler says to me all the time, like, there's always one team that is gutless, okay? And that a spread is not big enough because they just don't even have heart. And this game is about passion and heart, right? So, I always gave Jeff Fisher a lot of credit because if they started out 4-8, every squad he had would play hard and they'd finish 8-8. Like, that's actually a great coach, in my opinion. Some teams just give up. My opinion is last year the Oakland Raiders were gutless.
Yes.
They were heartless.
Yes.
I was looking at Gruden going, this guy's going to be the head coach. Why is this guy the Messiah? He can't even get these guys to be motivated. So what I saw in that game, I was like, wow, these guys look motivated.
Bingo.
Yeah, the offensive line looked good. Derek Carr was 22 of 26.
He looks ungodly.
Also, I texted Brace about this. I want to apologize because it's on. I think we kept that.
You talked smack about my boy Carr.
I did, and I apologize. The man looks amazing, and I do like him as a person. and I've been texting him all week, and
You've been going to
he's
church
not
for him?
responding.
That's good.
Yeah, his eyes and his arm are equally beautiful.
And
So,
taking over
I'm
for
looking
Antonio
forward to it.
Brown, Tyrell Williams, who had over 100 yards for the Raiders on Monday night.
Well, the last thing that I want to talk about is this backup quarterback now that BD ends out. Look, at the end of the day, this guy comes off the bench. What, a fifth-round draft pick, and goes, sets an NFL record for the most completions in NFL history to start off his career. I think he has like 13 straight completions, and he goes like 20 for 23, some ridiculous number like that. How can you get better than that?
Gardner Minshew.
Ooh, it sounds like some sort of Japanese knife.
And he has a sweet mustache.
All right, boys. I'd love to talk about that man's face for quite some time. We got to wrap up this segment.
There's things in life you just can't control, like the weather, the traffic, or the fact that spilled coffee seems to love white shirts. But it's all good, because there's something you'll always be able to control. Your company's finances. SAP Concur integrates all your business's expenses, travel, and invoicing in one simple solution, giving you the visibility and control you need to drive your business forward. SAP Concur. It's how the best-run businesses make their expenses run better. Learn more at concur.com/control.
At Edible Arrangements, we believe birthdays should be unique. That's why we're introducing new birthday platters, treats, and more. Packed with fresh fruit and chocolate, these are a new way to birthday. And that's worth celebrating. Place your order at your local Edible today.
Americans are always on the move. They're in the car or at the office or working around the house. Americans refuse to sit still. So how do you connect with all those moving targets? Easy. With radio. Radio reaches 93% of Americans every week, more than Google, Facebook, and even television. But hey, who has time to sit and watch TV? So when you want to connect with all those constantly moving adults, teens, and millennials, get iHeartMedia.com and put AM/FM radio to work for your company.
Hey, back up. Did you just say you...
4 free LG Stylo 5 phones? Yep.
No. Something about the car?
Oh, you mean Boost Super Reliable Superfast Network.
Before that, the car smashing thing.
What? The smashing deal we got. 4 lines for just $25 per line per month?
No. Between the 4 lines for $25 per line per month and the unlimited gigs part, you said I smashed up the car a bit.
I did. It's completely smashed. We need a new vehicle. But 4 free phones.
Boost Mobile, the switch that gives you more. Offer ends 9/16/19 or while supplies last. Requires 1 port from eligible carrier and activation. 1 free device per line. Includes mobile optimized data. Additional terms and restrictions apply. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
You may not notice it's a protein bar. Dark chocolate and crunchy peanuts will do that. Plus, they'll get your family moving again. Nature Valley Peanut Butter Dark Chocolate Protein Bars.
Welcome back to Amazon Prime One-Day Delivery Trivia. Now to the next question. If Adam can get a chainsaw in 1 day with Amazon Prime One-Day Delivery, and Sharon can get a leaf blower in 1 day with One-Day Delivery, what are the odds their neighbor will order noise-canceling headphones with Amazon Prime One-Day Delivery? Yes, Sarah.
Pretty good?
Correct. Introducing One-Day Delivery from Amazon Prime. Order from millions of items. Peace and quiet delivered.
This report is sponsored by Circle K.
You know what today is? It's the day you stop paying full price for gas. Get the Easy Pay card at Circle K and save 30 cents a gallon on your first 100 gallons. Then save 6 cents a gallon on every fill-up after that. Sign up in store and visit CircleK.com/EasyPay for more details.
Programs over here. Don't get caught sitting in the stands without a program in your hand.
Thursday night or Monday night, it doesn't matter.
Sound good?
The guys from Beating Your Bookie are on 7 days a week.
I will set the odds at plus 300.
Here's Poe and Pope with some NFL winners.
Welcome back to Beating Your Bookie with Pope and Poe and little Fedkey. Fetty QP. Adrian
Keys to the
Fedkey
castle, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to call you something different every single time. All right, look, we
That's basically what happens normally in life. Nobody can ever get the last name right. So
Yeah,
Fedkin, Fedeweek,
That's out of
Fedekey.
disrespect for you.
Yeah.
All right, but not today. I got
Well, I won the
respect for you.
poll.
You know
Most
what?
of the
I'll
time,
give you
nobody even
this.
cares.
I won the poll.
Before we get into this week's picks, I'll give you guys this. Both of you talked about the back end
backdoor cover
from the Eagles game last week.
We're all over
Hats
it.
off.
And that
We're all
happened
over
with
it.
6 seconds to go.
Hats
Which,
off.
Backdoor cover.
And for the
Peterson
first week of
plays
football,
prevent.
it's very difficult to to predict
But to all of
any
our
win,
listeners, the backdoor cover is when you're covering the spread, the team plays prevent, and the other team that deserved to lose and not cover actually covers through the back door. And we say this all the time. There are certain coaches that will play prevent, so they're susceptible to the backdoor cover. The Eagles are always that team.
Absolutely.
So don't get so comfortable with your lead.
These are little tricks of the trade you can get on beatingyourbookie.com.
Right.
This week we're going to put up our obviously our picks. And before we head out, we're going to talk about this week's picks. All right, we're not going to go through every one because you don't deserve every one this week. We told you last week you deserve every one. Not anymore.
Well,
all
last week was free.
That's
This
what
ain't
I'm
free.
saying.
We're not free no more.
Adrian, if you want to repeat everything I just said, why don't we just start over? You want me to start over?
What, is there an echo in
yeah,
here?
right? Get your crap together, AG baby, Fetty Mama. See what I'm saying?
That's a new
All right,
one.
look, let's talk about a couple difficult or interesting picks for this week rather than bore them with all of them. The couple on the board here that you guys have been spouting out for a while is New Orleans, L.A., Philly, Atlanta, and Green Bay, Minnesota.
Yeah, so, all right. So, L.A. and New Orleans, and these two matchups last year, kind of a contrast. So, less points in the NFC Championship game. In the first game, lots of points galore. The Rams normally start pretty hot, and the Saints historically start pretty slow. They lost their last 5 season openers before the win on Monday night against Houston. So, because of that, I like the Rams here as the play. I know you're differentiating with me, Poe, so you can get into why you disagree.
It's a tough pick, and you know what?
Oh,
I don't
so
like
okay,
about
so
this?
you're
I don't
thinking.
I don't like the fact that 75% of the public, or plus 75, it looks like it's almost 80%, are on the Saints.
Interesting.
So when you have an 80% on the public on a road dog, you don't take that road dog.
You flip flop.
So as much as I don't like the Rams, and I think that they're weak, and I think Jared Goff is a sissy, and I don't know who that offends, but there might be sissies that might get mad and call into the show later. But the reality
Bryce is not here.
I'm really not a big Goff fan. So the reality is, at the end of the day, I'll go with the Rams despite my emotions that I think that I like the Saints, but not with the public all over them.
Drew Brees. I'm going Saints.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun to watch last night. That was I missed Monday Night Football, and when you get two good games, what we saw last night, I got really excited about Breeze and the Saints. They had a lot of heart that came back, and also he's just, man, he's fun to watch. Every single year, I think this is it. He can't.
Well, his completion percentage being 76% is ridiculous.
It's insane.
I don't complete 76% of my passes to my 8-year-old kid in the backyard.
Yeah.
So how does Drew Brees do in the NFL over the course of an entire NFL season? Blows my mind. But Minnesota, Green Bay at Lambeau.
Yeah, so I am interested to see how this Green Bay defense, can they dominate? So you're going up against Kirk Cousins now. Can the pass rush get after him? So this Vikings offensive line, not that great. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, those were the two that were really getting the pressures off the edge. And then two guys in the secondary that really impressed me for Green Bay, Jair Alexander, the second-year player out of Louisville. And then you have Darnell Savage, the safety, who was all over the place against Chicago. So Minnesota gets the Week 1 victory against Atlanta at home, but now they got to go on the road. Green Bay at home, I'm going to take the Packers in this one.
Well, here's the thing that you say that they were impressive in that first game, but they were going against Trubisky, and you guys basically told me you felt like Trubisky was a redshirt freshman,
wow,
playing for
it was
South Alabama.
No, it was bad.
It was wild.
Right. So really, were they tested? I mean,
still only 3 points though.
True,
still only
but
gave up
I'll tell
3
you this
points.
much: the Vikings under Zimmerman is a bad team. They are well coached and they're angry. And they're passionate back like they were 2 years ago. I just think, I'm taking Minnie on the road. I think Green Bay, once again, overhyped. I think Aaron Rodgers overhyped all world. I say overhyped. He is the best quarterback to ever play. I'm just saying that he's not going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't love the Green Bay Packers. I like the Vikings on the road.
I like the Vikings as well. And I hope it's a good game as expected, so we don't have to see the cameras.
Well, let's talk about this crazy spread of New England in Miami.
Yeah,
where the spread is 19.
It's 19, and the crazy thing about this is Miami has actually won 4 of the last 5 in Miami.
Well, was Tom Brady playing for him at the time?
Yeah,
yes.
Right.
No, but here's what the bizarre part to me is like, we talked earlier, I spoke about my degenerate friend that says they're heartless teams. And one thing that I'm concerned about these Dolphins are that they traded away a guy in the clubhouse, that the guy in the locker room that everyone loved, that offensive lineman. And I think that sends such a tremendous message to players that are gutting it out, talking about what their dreams are and aspirations for the season. And then you basically give up on my team and say, the leader in the locker room we're going to trade, that's an all-pro guy. And what does that do to the team? Honestly, I think it showed on Sunday, which is basically we're gutless, we're heartless, and we don't care. We have absolutely no passion to win the game. So I'm concerned that 19-point spread is well-deserved.
Congratulations for the number 1 pick, Miami.
Exactly.
All right, let's finish off with Philadelphia, Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll say this. The first thing that I don't like about this is that I saw 88% bet on the Eagles. And before the season, I thought that this was going to be a tough game. And after watching week 1 and the Eagles cornerbacks and secondary really struggling, it's going to be tough. Going against Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, that trio. You got Austin Hooper, the tight end. And it's going to be in Atlanta. So the Atlanta, poor showing on the road in their opener, 28-12. But now they come home to Atlanta, and I think this is going to be a difficult matchup for the Eagles, who historically have not done well in Week 2 games under Doug Peterson. So I think the Eagles actually go to Atlanta and go down in this game and lose.
Sadly, I don't. If I was not a Eagles fan, I would have to agree with you, because the stats show early on, no way that the Eagles, as a road dog getting less than 3 points, have 80% on the Eagles on a road dog less than 3 points. That team actually loses outright. So statistics show, in my opinion, I love the Birds in this game from what I see. But I don't care. Vegas isn't losing this one. There'd be a boatload of money lost. What I only say is it's Atlanta's box score on what they got yards per rush is really what was anemic that occurred on Sunday. And
nobody gets rushing yards against Minnesota.
Yeah, so that's why I feel strongly about the Vikings, really shutting down Aaron Rodgers, and just because they're familiar interdivision rivals and that type of thing. I feel like Atlanta, by the way, feels like it's an interdivision rival game. They seem to play every single year, don't they?
No, they have. And the Eagles have gotten the best out of the matchup over recent years, but they really haven't played in Atlanta recently. Right. So this one, a little bit different.
We'll both passionately want the Birds. I'll root for them all day. But if the stats still line up that 80% are on the Birds on a road, getting less than 3 points, I'm telling you right now, Atlanta wins that game outright.
Yep, I agree.
I hate to say yes. I don't want my dad listening to this, but I agree with you.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, let's hope Carson's not listening.
I'm going to say Philly just because you two animals said Atlanta.
Okay.
And I think there's going to be some there will be some defensive adjustments, just like there were offensive adjustments. I feel like there's going to be a couple turnovers that are going to really make the difference. But otherwise, I agree with you. I think Atlanta really has the edge here.
Okay.
Boys. BeatingYourBookie.com. You could log on there and see the rest of our picks if you're willing. If you're willing, you know what I mean. If you're willing, take the risk. Take the risk, and that's we're going to take the risk every week here. Beating Your Bookie. I don't know if Addie Baby and Addie Boo Boo over there is going to take the risk every week, but me and Poe will be here every single week. Thursday, 6 to 7, Beating Your Bookie. Again, head to BeatingYourBookie.com if you guys have any inquiries or any.
And Sunday, 11 to
and 10 to 11 on Sunday morning on 102.5. The
So
Gambler.
nice, got to do it twice.
And if you want to send any tweets, hit me up at Tommy J Pope. And also Instagram, if you want to private message me, I'll fight you in lot 7. I'll wear orange, I'll wear red, I'll wear purple. I don't care what it is, but if you got an issue with how beautiful the show is, for 2 weeks we've been knocking it out of the park. 2 weeks. I just met these guys 2 weeks ago. So this is beautiful stuff. All right, and we're going to continue doing it week after week. Adrian, give your socials so they can try and fight you Fetty Mop.
Yeah, so let's get my name pronounced correctly now. It's Adrian Fedkiw, ADRIAN FEDKIW. So it's just my name on the Twitter. I don't have anything crazy, no numbers, no underscores. It's Adrian Fedkiw on the Twitter and Instagram. That's where you can find me.
All right, Adrian.
Nice. 5 followers, just so you know. I just checked on right now, 6.
Woo!
Less than the poll.
Yeah, where can they find you besides on the field without telling your friends?
Anonymous.
You selfish animal.
Anonymous.
I like that too. Yeah, at least you're being honest.
Yes.
All right, boys. Thanks for another great week. Again, head to BeatingYourBookie.com for some picks and some insiders. This was Beating Your Bookie, episode 2.